How about this for some statistics? Females comprised just 12% of the protagonists in the top grossing films in 2014. And often, when women are in lead roles, they are portrayed as either the girlfriend, the wife, the mother, and of course, the princess. In addition, they are often portrayed in an over-sexualized way, being twice as likely to be shown nude compared to men. This is, of course, according to the global study, the first ever of its kind, done by the Gina Davis Institute on Gender in Media, which UN Women supported.
I think to some degree it's because television right now, at least in the United States, I can't speak for the rest of the world, has become the place where riskier stories are told, more character-driven stories are told, and often those are female-driven. And then I do think that there is something to be said about that television can be a little bit more accommodating to people with families. And I think that at some degree, the fact that most women who have children are the primary caretakers of their children, not all, but most, that does start to get in front of their ability to be, independent directors, and really be able to give everything up at a moment's notice, et cetera.
Right.
We're in very masculine times. We're at war. We're in a culture that is so fast, and it's very masculine, and the culture is eating nature. It's overpowering storytelling, period. We have boys in video games. We have girls in video games. The Hunger Games was movies are turned into games now, and it's fast, and we're in a culture of time and not of depth or storytelling or mystery, or we need answers. We're becoming like image. It's about the image and the passing of the image, and not about nuance. And it's competitive. I mean, I love the romantic comedy. I thought I'd have a career playing like the best friend to all these. And where's that movie, Salma, of us being friends? I mean, what happened to that, And not just like men against women, but, men loving women and women loving men, and having fun and being interested in each other. And it's really sad to me that there is this dissension, and I don't understand it, and I think it's, we're also in very ghoulish times, It's very bloody, but it's also indicative of the time that we're living in.
And I think that it's built into the language, it's indigenous almost. And so what you're talking about, there has to be a responsibility on the journalists to write that article differently from a different gender bias, and to ask the industry experts who are women to rate a movie that is an important piece of women's history so that women have access to it. All of those things are of equal importance, I think.
It's pretty much the same color everywhere across the globe. I think everything does get driven by revenue, and that's why we, I guess, keep coming back to reiterating preconceived ideas, the way business has already been predefined, the way society pre-exists, preconceived notions. It tends to reflect itself in every area. The movie that they just showed you a little glimpse of is Jazba, the one I'm going to be releasing later this year. The interesting fact about that movie is the director is a man who's eventually recognized as somebody who's majorly done testosterone-driven subjects. So, of course, when he announces this collaboration with me, the first recognition is people believing I'm just going to be cloned into pretty much portraying on celluloid It's just a female protagonist doing the kind of subjects he's always done before. Again, preconceived idea, that becomes perception, that gets written, that gets expected, which later in the year we'll know how that then goes ahead and decides business, because there's just too much of preconceived drumming, I think, in perception, which I think is exceedingly dangerous for our creative medium.
I do think that there is this ignorance. I don't want to say discrimination, or I think it's simple. I'm sorry, but it's simple, plain ignorance, because they think that the only value that we bring into the movies is through being seen as a sexual object, and this is the female value in the film. And I'm going to tell you something that shows this very dramatically. The only kind of film where women make more money than men, it's the porno industry.
Don't you think there's a connection between the fact that there's only one major movie studio headed by a woman right now, Donna Langley at Universal. There are no female heads of any of the major talent agencies in Hollywood or the TV networks. I mean, Dana Walden at Fox shares the job with Gary. But I mean, I think there's definitely a connection there. I mean, women are not at the top running those big, giant corporations, those media companies.
UN Women launched a HeForShe campaign late last year. It's a call to action to say that we need men to be advocates for change. We know that Hollywood is the boys' club. How do we rally them? How do we get them to be HeForShe? How can we mobilize them?